Okay, let's unpack this. We all know the saying, right? You've heard it at every family barbecue since you got your license. The minute you drive a new car off the lot, you're throwing money out the window.
It's basically a law of physics. But when we looked at the data for the 2026 used market, specifically for luxury cars, it wasn't just money flying out the window. It was more like a suitcase full of cash being set on fire.
It is brutal. We're talking about depreciation curves that look like cliffs.
Exactly. New luxury cars losing 40, even 60% of their value in just the first 3 years. I mean, financially, buying a brand new luxury sedan is a disaster.
Right, but this is where it gets really interesting for us. That disaster for the first owner is, well, it's a cheat code for the second owner. We have a stack of research here on 12 specific cars from 2022 to 2025 that have taken that massive hit but aren't, ticking time bombs.
And that distinction is the whole ballgame. You have to separate the status buyer from the smart buyer.
Okay, what's the difference?
The status buyer sees a 3-year-old luxury car and just gets scared. They're terrified of it being out of warranty. They picture smoke pouring from the hood the day after they buy it.
Which, to be fair, is a reasonable fear with some of these brands.
It is, absolutely. But the smart buyer looks deeper. They see the depreciation curve, they understand the engineering, and they know if you budget for maintenance, you can drive an $80,000 car for the price of a Honda Accord.
So that's our mission today. We are counting down 12 sedans and SUVs where the math actually works. We're talking true luxury for, like, Camry money. But there has to be a catch.
There's always a catch. This only works if you have strict maintenance discipline. You can't treat a used Jaguar like a Toyota. You just can't skip an oil change because you're busy.
You have to budget for the upkeep.
You have to. If you do that, these are incredible bargains. If you don't, they will destroy you financially.
Okay, deal. Let's dive in. We've grouped these into a few themes, and the first one is what I'm calling the prestige gap. These are cars that are amazing, but because the badge isn't German, the prices just plummet. We're starting with Genesis.
Yes, specifically the Genesis G80 sedan and the GV70 SUV. They're ranking at number 12 and number 3 on our list.
But Genesis gets great reviews. Why is the resale value so bad?
That's the prestige gap in action. A G80 loses 45 to 50%. The GV70 is even worse. It can lose up to 52%.
Okay, let's pause on that. It's just wild. So the first guy pays 55 grand. 3 years later, he's basically paid $25,000 just for that new car smell.
That's the tax. And it's not about quality, it's just brand cachet. People don't recognize the logo like they do a Mercedes, but underneath, the engineering is closer to Toyota's reliability standards.
Okay, but there's a specific version we need to hunt for, right? It's not just any G80.
No, you have to be surgical. You're looking for the 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder. It makes about 300 horsepower, which is plenty. You want to avoid the twin-turbo V6.
Why? More power, more complexity.
More power, more heat, more plumbing, more complexity. The 2.5 is just more reliable long-term. And there's another key thing here, the transmission.
I saw this, something about it being conventional.
Right. Genesis uses a standard 8-speed automatic. If that fails, a rebuild is maybe $3,000 to $4,500. That sounds like a lot until you compare it to a European dual-clutch transmission.
Explain that. I hear dual clutch and think it's a good thing.
For racing, it is. But a dual clutch is basically a robot driving a stick shift. It's super complex. When the mechatronics fail, and they do, you're looking at an $8,000 to $12,000 bill on a German car. Genesis doesn't have that problem.
That's a huge difference. What about the warranty?
The 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty transfers to the second owner. So you're buying a used car that might still have factory coverage.
That's massive. Okay, staying in this prestige gap theme, let's talk number 11, the Volvo S90.
Here, market trends are your friend. Sedan demand just collapsed. Everyone wants an SUV. So you see values drop 50 to 55%.
And you're getting, what, heated massaging seats, incredible safety tech?
Scandinavian luxury.
For $28,000 to $33,000. It's a completely different quality of life for the same money.
A lot of car for the money, but again, you have to be specific. You want the B5 mild hybrid version. Avoid the plug-in hybrid.
Keep it simple?
Keep it simple. The plug-in adds batteries, charging systems, all that complexity. The issues on these Volvos are usually minor electrical gremlins, not, mechanical catastrophes.
I got it. Okay, theme 2. This is a fun one. These are deals not because people forget they exist, but because people remember too much. The bad reputation redemption. First up, number again. The Jaguar XF.
I can almost hear people cringing right now.
Whoa, hold on. You want me to tell people to go buy a used Jaguar? I feel like that's financial malpractice.
Right.
My uncle's Jag was always on a flatbed.
Your uncle probably had an old V8 from the 2000s, and yeah, those were nightmares. But that reputation causes catastrophic depreciation. We're talking 55 to 60% drops. The reality is, the newer models use a 2.0-liter turbo four-cylinder they share with Land Rover.
And it actually works.
It's surprisingly decent if, and this is a big if, you change the oil every 5,000 miles.
Wait, doesn't the manual say every 10,000?
Throw the manual away. The manual is written by marketing to make ownership costs look low. These engines run hot. If you push the oil to 10,000 miles, sludge builds up and the timing chain fails.
So the secret to owning a Jag is just more oil changes.
And budgeting $2,000 to $3,000 a year for upkeep at an independent shop, never the dealer. You do that, and for 22 grand Accord money, you get a beautiful British sports sedan.
All right, speaking of American bargains, number 9, the Cadillac CT5.
It is. It loses almost half its value because it lacks that German prestige, but mechanically it's a sweet spot. Parts come from a GM warehouse in Michigan, not a boat from Munich.
So repairs are cheaper. Which engine are we looking for?
Stick to the 2.0-liter turbo. It's reliable. Avoid the twin-turbo V6. With the 2.0-liter, you're getting magnetic ride control, which Ferrari actually licensed from GM for like $24,000 to $28,000.
And a big repair bill is what?
Maybe $1,500 to $3,000. On the German equivalent, that same repair starts at 4 or 5 grand and goes up.
Okay, but what if I do want that German badge?
Yeah.
That brings us to theme 3, the German engineering hacks. Audi, BMW, Mercedes. But first, we have to talk about where you get them fixed.
Yes, the golden rule. Listen to this. Never, ever take an out-of-warranty German car to the dealership for repairs.
But don't you need the dealer stamp in the book? For resale?
That's the trap. The dealer is not where the experts are. You need to find an independent specialist, a shop that only works on German cars. The owner usually came from a dealer, knows the cars inside and out, and charges half the labor rate.
Got it. Find the specialist before you buy the car. So let's start with number 8, the Audi A6.
Beautiful car. Quattro all-wheel drive, the virtual cockpit, all for $30,000 to $35,000.
And smart buyers.
The 2.0-liter four-cylinder. It avoids the timing chain issues of the older V6, but you need to know about 2 specific maintenance items. First is walnut blasting.
Walnut what? That sounds like a spa treatment for squirrels.
It's for your engine's intake valves. Because it's a direct injection engine, carbon builds up on the valves. A mechanic literally blasts crushed walnut shells in there to scrub them clean without damaging the metal.
Wow. Okay, and what does that cost?
About $600 to $900 every 60 to 80,000 miles. The other thing is the transmission fluid. It's a dual clutch, so you have to change the fluid every 40,000 miles. If you don't, you're looking at a $10,000 repair.
Ouch. Okay, number 7, the ultimate driving machine, the BMW 330i.
Best-in-class dynamics, rear-wheel drive. You can find them for 24 to 28 grand. The B48 engine in these is actually very reliable.
There's always a but with BMW.
Water pumps. They use plastic housings, they get brittle, and they will crack around 60 to 80,000 miles. You just have to view it as a consumable part. It's an $800 to $1,200 job at a specialist.
And I see a note here, avoid X-Drive.
Yes. Unless you live in heavy snow, avoid the all-wheel drive. It adds weight, complexity, and cost. Keep it rear-wheel drive. It drives better and costs less to own.
Okay, number 6, the big one, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class.
The status symbol. Originally $65,000, now $32,000 to $38,000. Built like a tank. The engine is good, but you have to do the transmission fluid change every 40,000 miles religiously. But there's a crucial warning here.
Let's hear it.
If you see a button on the console that looks like a little car with an arrow pointing up, run away.
That's the air suspension.
Correct. It feels like you're riding on a cloud, but it uses rubber bags instead of steel springs and rubber rots. When it fails, the car is undrivable, and you're looking at a $2,000 to $4,000 repair. Stick to the standard steel springs.
Wow. Okay, so those are the Germans. High reward, high maintenance. Let's shift to theme 4, the safe bets. For people who want luxury but don't want a project car.
This is the peace of mind category. Number 2 on our list is the Acura MDX.
The ultimate family hauler.
3 rows of luxury for $30,000 to $34,000. And it uses the Honda J35 V6 engine, which is legendary. It's Basically unkillable. We see them with 300,000 miles all the time.
So it's a Honda Pilot in a tuxedo.
In the best way, yes. Your running costs are basically CLV levels. Just change the special fluid for the all-wheel drive system every 30,000 miles and you're good.
And then we have the Kings, numbers 5 and 4, the Lexus ES350 and RX350.
These are outliers. They depreciate less, maybe 35 to 42%.
But that's still a $15,000 to $22,000 savings off new.
Exactly. And the reason they hold their value is because the market knows they don't break. Both use the Toyota naturally aspirated V6, no turbos, no complexity.
My mechanic calls the ES the Maytag. It just works.
It's true. They only ever see them for oil changes. You can get 250,000 miles out of these without even trying. This is luxury without the worry.
Okay, we've covered the bargains, the divas, and the safe bets. But we saved number 1 for last, theme 5, the ultimate flagship opportunity.
The Lexus LS 500. Model years 2022 to 2024.
This car was $80,000, sometimes $100,000 new.
And now, $38,000 to $45,000. It loses 50 to 55% of its value.
That's insane. You're getting hand-stitched leather Curico glass, absolute flagship luxury for the price of a loaded Camry.
It is the single best value in the luxury market, period. But we have to address the elephant in the room. It has a twin-turbo V6 and air suspension.
Wait a minute. You just told us to avoid both of those things on the Cadillac and the Mercedes. Why is it okay here?
Because of the entry price and the math. Yes, the air suspension will fail. Probably around 100,000 miles. It will cost $3,000 to $5,000 to fix.
That's a scary number.
It is. But you saved $40,000 buying the car. You have to view it as planned maintenance, not a disaster. Even with that bill, you are driving a flagship for so much less than a German equivalent.
So you just bake that cost into your budget. It's like a prepaid luxury tax.
Exactly. You are driving an $80,000 experience with running costs that are still lower than a Mercedes S-Class. It's a calculated risk with a massive reward.
So the strategy is clear then. Let the first owner take that huge depreciation hit. They pay for the ego. You get the luxury, but you have to take on the maintenance schedule.
That is the key. Whether it's the sensible Lexus or the flashy Jaguar, you must budget. That $1,000 to $3,000 annual buffer we talked about. If you do that, you win.
It's amazing that depreciation creates these opportunities, but it makes me wonder, if these are the good buys, what about the traps?
Oh, that's the scary part. If depreciation creates opportunity here, it creates absolute financial ruin in other models. You see those cheap Range Rovers or older Maseratis for 15 grand? Those are financial disaster. Those aren't deep dives, they're shipwrecks. But that's a story for another day.
I can't wait. For now, find your specialist, check your oil, and enjoy the hunt for your half-price luxury car. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.